few questions from Chat GPT.
Okay, cool.
So I figured that's,
You didn't use DeepSeek?
is that better?
That's the Chinese one that's supposed to be like really good. That's like got all the AI nerds like freaking out in Silicon Valley. So they're like, it only costs $5 to work instead of $5 million or something like that. I mean, it's crazy.
And all the drone stuff, or orbs and stuff in the sky.
So, yeah, supposedly, I mean, the press secretary for the new president, or the old president or whatever, came out today and was like, gave an answer on that, but it was just like, they're authorized, don't worry about it. It's like, so that's not really a very good answer. But I mean, at least it was like, don't worry, they're not like, we know what they are, we're not going to tell. Like, at least it wasn't just like, they're not
like
there.
The government's on it.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah. That's basically all she said. But I mean, at least that's better than them saying there's nothing there.
It's like gaslighting.
Yeah, when like everyone in New Jersey is seeing a parade of drones.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? I was looking up there yesterday and I didn't see a thing. I saw some stuff out with this guy one night. Mom lives up. And there's not a lot of light out there. I can see a good amount of stars. And like, I was like, okay, I'll play along or whatever. And I started looking up. I'm like, what's that thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. No answers, but whatever. I hope it's a Project Bluebeam hologram or something like that.
Yeah, something cool.
They're going to launch some like crazy Star Wars thing and like the world will be united and then some New World Order takes charge.
Yeah, or like that episode of Simpsons where like the aliens take over and like they like each one of them like they pretend to be politicians at first, but then they're just like, actually we're just the same person. And then they're like they, I don't know. It's, Homer's like, don't blame me. I voted for condos or whatever.
I think my understanding of reality has like shifted from anything. Understanding of reality has like shifted.
There's no separation.
Understanding of reality has like shifted from anything. It's prison. I'm cool with that. Like whatever.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean,
so I got we've known each other. I want to say something like years or so.
Yeah, a long time.
Definitely. And you've been like a fixture that just I might not know where to find you, but I'll probably run into you eventually at some point. And you've been playing music probably for good years.
Yeah, I mean, or longer. I mean, I played piano when I was probably 5 or 6, so at least 4 years. Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I was whistling before that, probably. Maybe beatboxing as a baby.
How many different projects? Because you've done a lot of stuff in town.
Yeah.
How many different projects have you been a part of?
That I don't know. I mean, more than 10, less than 30, I want to say. And I don't want to say 20 or something because I don't know exactly, but enough to
And
a lot.
right now, what are you working with?
Right now, I'm doing a lot of stuff by myself, which is why I'm here. Obviously, I'm releasing a lot of stuff under my own name. As far as bands are concerned, like the most active band I'm in actually is a Beastie Boys cover band, where all of the MCs are girls, and I play bass and handle the samples and that, but all like the actual MCs are all women, and that's called the Beastie Boys, and that's the band that actually goes out and gigs more often. Like I played for Set a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
We played Eureka a month ago.
So like a Bikini Kill Beastie Boys.
Yeah, it's cool. They do change the lyrics to make them a little more feminist or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, which it's fine. I mean, I don't care.
A lot of their early stuff was, pretty toxic.
Yeah, they were programmed.
There's a lot for Tibet,
Yeah, I mean, so that's that, and then Bosses. I'm playing in Bosses with Andy and Finian. We don't gig very much. We are recording a lot. Cool. But yeah, and then actually I am playing in Art Lesson in Flower Plateau too.
Oh yeah,
we did that gig together.
We did that gig, yeah. So, which when we get together with my band and you ever see us on stage, you're always welcome.
Yeah, of course.
You played with us for 2015 to like 17 or something.
Yeah, something.
Well, cool. Bosses is cool. I'm glad you guys are recording. I'm sure it sounds nice. Andy's got a good patience for getting good tone and stuff.
Yeah.
So what inspires your creative process, if you had to say so?
I'm just like constantly thinking about, I always think about music. It's like always, I'm constantly thinking about it. And so it's kind of helpful at my house. I'm always set up to, my sampler's always set up, and like my keyboard's always set up.
Most of your, okay, well, I should talk about how this started even. Yeah. Last week you sent me a track.
Yeah.
And I heard it and it said, float music.
Nice. Yeah.
But it's not the first time you've done like ambient stuff or instrumental stuff.
Yeah. I think this was the most solidly ambient thing I've like released in this format, where I was like, I'm gonna put out an ambient album.
You're gonna make music for airports.
Yeah, basically.
It's gonna go in airports.
Yeah, or something more cinematic. I mean, I've been doing a lot of stuff over the past few years that's been more cinematic and more action film oriented.
That was probably the second thought I had after Float Tanks was like, movie scores.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, with this one especially, I've been listening to so much ambient music over the past year, just while I'm reading. There's just like I wrote down this. I really got into this album by this guy Dave Lunt from 1982 called Now Silent. And and I think it's just great. And it's like, I mean, I've been into Klaus Schulze and Brian Eno and Suzanne Ciani and all this type of electronic music for a long time, but like I've been getting into deeper cuts lately just because of like just from watching music. There's a million YouTube channels that have
so great.
So it's like I have access to so much of it, so I can listen to 4 or 5 tapes or records from the 80s, 70s, 90s that I've never heard before every day. And I read a lot, so it's like I'll just throw on ambient music and read. But this one record really caught me, and that coincided with me buying a new sampler like a few months ago.
Now, what kind of gear are you using for that recording specifically?
So for Outboard 6, it is a very specific set of gear where I have a pretty nice synthesizer. I have a sequential OB6 that I bought a few years ago. And yeah, it was a purchase, but I was getting more serious about doing a lot of solo records. I'd already put out a couple things. I was like, I'm going to buy this really nice machine. And I sampled that. And also, that's really, that machine and like Oberheim in general is really, they're really mindful about panning. Like the voices pan.
There you go. I
So
didn't know that.
it's like perfect for binaural beats. So that's why, like the binaural thing really came in because it's just like, it's really functional for binaural stuff because it's like, you can within the synthesizer itself, you can have the voices pan.
Is that what you think maybe triggered that float music response?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so.
That's dope. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that whole side of the record, right, was the OB6 sampled into my SP404 Mark II, which is the new sampler I just got, which also has really great stereo effects. Like the stereo effects on that little machine are incredible. So the combination of having the stereo sampler, where I was really, when taking the samples, which a lot of them are looped and stuff inside, a lot of the arrangement takes place inside of the sampler, and the effects take place inside of the sampler, but a lot of the samples themselves started out in the stereo thing, where you pan the voices to your, you can pan them right, completely left and right, or you can bring them a little closer to the center or whatever. But it's like, that's just part of their whole thing, part of the whole.
So how long are your cuts, like your samples?
It depends. Some of them were like a minute. Some of them were like 30
From like
seconds.
a 4-minute track, like something you do, and then you cut like that sample that's...
Yeah, or I'll just be playing, and I'll just be jamming. I'll be like, hey, I like this sound, and then I'll just hit the sampler and run for as long as I feel like going. If it's something rhythmic, or like some of the samples are only like 10 seconds long, and they're just looped. Some.
You're doing that in the analog realm, more or less, right? No screen.
How is it?
On a DAW.
Everything's finished on a DAW. But all the arranging is done in the sampler. So that wasn't. It's digital.
Digital sampler, but it's no screen.
So it was
hands on.
Yeah, very hands-on, and a lot of effects in that sampler are. And so yeah, the float tank thing, it is perfect. I mean, it does make sense because it is I was trying to achieve a binaural experience with that side of the record, especially. Yeah,
which is basically when there's a slight difference of frequency set to each ear.
Yeah,
your brain kind of makes up the difference, and if there's like a 8 hertz difference, you're at 432 and 440.
and like you can do
your brain's going to make a 8 hertz wave, and that will be like a brain state, like an alpha or theta or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you're just, accidentally creating these harmonics or these ghost frequencies, you're still like triggering a brain response.
I definitely think that's where the delay probably comes in, like the secondary layering of it, because the override is going to be just like there's not going to be a lot of variation between frequencies. And once you start delaying it in stereo, you're going to start having those.
Start getting some phase cancellation, or we won't get too technical.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that.
So that was cool. That was actually my next question, was kind of walking us through your workflow. Did I miss anything there?
I mean, just not really. I mean, for that one, it was like very sample.
A lot of like experimental. Is that how you're kind of going at these projects, or?
I mean, I think for this one especially, I was going for a narrative. It's like I wanted to create. Once the samples were in place, once I had material that I could work with and arrange, I was like, okay, what story do I want to tell? So this one's more about like space exploration, right?
Yeah.
And I work here because it's like inner space exploration, right? It's about whatever type of exploration there is. So it's like the way I titled it, it was like I was like cryosleep, orbit, surface exploration, native encounter, escape velocity. So
those are the tags.
Those are the tags in there. So you're supposed to move through that. So like the first part, it's a very long dry out thing. You're supposed to imagine, it's like a float. It's like you are in a float tank. You're in cryosleep.
I like this one. I thought it resolved nicely, and it would bring you to a calm, state. Yeah. So how do you make choices about your themes, or just?
Well, I just like kind of let the sample take me where it goes, and then I try to, once I start creating an arrangement out of the sample, I kind of just like let it tell me what it is.
Follow its lead. What instruments do you feel the most connected to, or the best tools for creating?
For like this type of music, it's sampling, because you can sample anything. And like I sampled a really expensive synthesizer. Like I sampled a very nice synthesizer, but I've created long form ambient stuff just with like a snippet from YouTube. Like I made this tape a couple months ago out of like a 4-second snippet from YouTube of this Handusatna Krishna, the wild Krishna guy from here who lived in like Reading, shot up a liquor store in Berkeley in like the 70s. Like I don't know, there was this crazy thing with my friend. Like he made some record. It's called like Swami Handusatna. I forgot his name, but anyway, like he made this record. My friend got me into it, but then like I just happened to be like learning how to use the sampler while this one thing pops into my YouTube, and so I got like a 4-second thing of him playing the harmonium and chanting, right? So it was only 4 seconds, but I was able to stretch that out into a 15-minute.
It was probably not recognizable.
I mean, parts of it were, I would loop things, and like so you could kind of hear certain things, but yeah, I mean, it would
borrowing the sound, but not just straight taking it.
Yeah, but just like, and that's just like because you can with sampling and pitching and resampling and using effects, you can always extend something.
Turns into its own instrument.
Yeah. And like you can do that with anything. You know what I mean?
And it's not like you're getting like an audio file off YouTube, high quality. It's whatever comes out probably every 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like my new sampler just plugs right in the computer, which is sick. So I can I can make it my sound card.
So it stays digital, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, I was surprised at how good the sounds, how happy I am with the sounds.
What is the sampler?
It's a SP404 Mark II.
So Roland?
It's Roland, yeah. So I've had the Mark I for 25 years, since whenever it came out. And I've been using it forever, and it just like, I've been putting off buying Mark II. They just came out with it a couple years ago, and I was like, thinking about buying it.
Just so sick.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like crazy. And the effects on the thing are insane. They have some effects on there where it's like, they'll describe it as like a snake uncoiling itself. And it won't be like delay, phase, or it'll be called like 2GO or something.
I always liked what you put out, because it's just been creative and different, but how would you say your creative output has changed or developed over the years, over time?
Well, ever since lockdown, I guess halfway through lockdown or a year into it, I was like, I'm not going to be precious of anything anymore. I'm just putting it out. So I have been, I mean, if things have changed, it's that like now I'm like accelerating, or I'm like it's like things just have to get out.
Is it repeatable? Is what you're putting out, like, can you pack it up and take it somewhere and then put it out in a different venue?
You mean like live or something like that? I mean, I have done, yeah, kind of. I'm working on that. I did a live, like, not completely, I did a live, like, half ambient, half, like, chopped and screwed style set, because I've been making beats and stuff on the NPC, or on the Mark II as well. When I opened up for my band for set by just doing like 20 minutes. So just I kind of threw together. So I am working towards being able to just go do that forever.
Has there been any specific times when you felt just validated as an artist?
Just now, when you called me and said you wanted to put it in the float tank. In fact, what I was thinking is like, I mean, I don't know if we need to get this in the interview, but I was like, this thing is only 15 minutes, right? And then to loop it 4 times for 50 minutes is, maybe it's a good experience. But, I think I could do I could take that same sample set and do something custom for you guys here where I extend it.
So that was a thought. I mean, I've been here nearly 5 years, or over 5 years now, and in the very beginning I thought the music aspect of float tanks was powerful. Why can't we do more like with the music? So the idea is maybe have these tracks available, like kind of limited edition, limited time for the people who have floated here long enough to be a little bit bored of the 15, 20 tracks that are available to them.
Yeah.
And then have like kind of a rotation of new stuff coming in and out, but all like in the realm of relaxation for the most part.
Yeah.
I always wanted something more spacey, more like weird. I like the weird.
Yeah.
And of course, like I usually fall asleep about 15 minutes into it, so that doesn't really care. I don't really care how long.
Yeah.
But 15 minutes is a good time. It's kind of weird. Let's see. Any non-artistic practices or routines that kind of influence what you're putting out and where you are creatively?
I've been pretty strict on the yoga lately. I've been doing that every morning. Not a ton of it, but like I'll do like 15 minutes, like right when I wake up.
Sun salutations.
Yeah, I just throw on someone on YouTube and like do like whatever,
so cool. All that's available.
It's crazy how much access we have to information.
I just fixed a water heater yesterday.
Yeah,
it's 2 videos in. I'm like, oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of search for like what you really want. Not all of it's totally the best information, but
yeah,
it's there. It's a cool time to be alive, I think.
I totally agree.
Float tanks, a lot of people say that when they start the practice, because it's a good practice to do, but then they're inspired to pick up a new hobby or something like that, or go learn a new language. I don't know what mine was, but I've definitely seen the world a little differently from just taking that time out and letting your senses do their thing. But any unusual source of inspiration you ever?
I think anything too. I remember.
What do you think? What do you think? How much importance do you think art is having today?
Today, I mean, for me, it's huge. I mean, I don't know what it is for everyone else, but I mean, I think it's big. I do think it is big because I think everybody's consuming it in all these different ways.
It's out there.
They not even know. Well, like we were talking about with AI earlier, like the AI art is going to get so good.
That stuff's crazy.
It's going to be. I mean, I see these like things on YouTube where like like there's this one guy who I like who does like hip hop beats and stuff, right? And he subscribes to some high end AI thing that like makes movies for him.
Yeah.
So he'll plug his
Hollywood's
music
doing it now.
It's crazy.
There's no writers.
Yeah, it's like
they know how to write better stuff than anyone else could.
Like in a year, we're gonna be like, hey, can you just like Friday night, like, hey, can you just like type in your computer, can you make a movie that I want to watch?
I'm hoping that if I work on my like improv projects long enough, we'll get to a point where like human improvisation is so valuable.
Yeah,
because everyone forgot. And all they do is I mean, my profile pictures are usually AI generated because they're hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's just great.
I mean, it's just, and I think a lot of that art or whatever, it's just floating around. So people are just going to become more creative.
Do you have to balance like? Pleasing yourself and making something that's people want or whatever? Consider that even?
I mean, I don't even know what people want. So it's like, I feel like I listen. I just try and make what I hear that I like. So like if I'm inspired by something, like I put out this ambient record because I was like so into this David Blunt album. I've been listening to so much ambient album music. It doesn't sound that much like his album or anything, but I was just like, okay, I want to like construct a narrative out of this. I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to release it. And it's like, and I'm going to just send it to my friends and try, send it to whoever and try to get people to listen to it.
But what's the one thing you want people to take away from your art after experiencing it, and then what's next for you?
The one thing I want people to take away, I mean, I just want them to enjoy it, really. I just want them to enjoy it and want to listen to it again. That's all I really want. I want someone to listen to something I did and be like, oh, I want to hear that again. Because that's how I feel about music. That's how I really enjoy music. If I hear something I really like, I'm like, fuck, I need to listen to it again. So I want to have that effect.
It's just a cool time to be alive, I think.
I know, I totally agree.